As the checkered flag waves on another Formula One season, the spotlight is firmly on Fernando Alonso. With his contract due to expire at the end of the season and his 43rd birthday approaching, retirement was a word far removed from Alonso's vocabulary. His age-defying performances at every Grand Prix are a testament to his enduring prowess and his ability to outpace anyone on the grid. Alonso's decision to extend his stay at Aston Martin has raised many eyebrows, especially considering the variety of options available in the sport at the moment. His departure from Alpine in 2022 set off a flurry of activity in the sport's silly season, and his decision to stay with Aston Martin now seems to have done the same. Alonso's passion for Formula One is palpable every time he appears on screen, whether in the paddock or during interviews. His tenure at Aston Martin has rejuvenated him and rekindled his love for the sport. He is now part of a team that values his talent, appreciates his efforts, and recognizes that Alonso is still a race-winning driver and one of the best in the business. So it's not surprising that he has signed a contract extension that will keep him at Aston Martin until at least the end of 2026. The Spanish two-time world champion will be 43 in July, and his new contract means he'll be racing in F1 until at least the age of 45. Alonso is rewriting the sport's rulebook, and the remarkable thing about it is that he doesn't even consider it extraordinary. "I love driving too much to stop at the moment," says Alonso. "The sacrifices you have to make are smaller than the passion I have for driving. I breathe F1, I live F1, I train to be fit for F1, I eat to be fit to drive F1. It didn't arrive the moment I felt the need to change lifestyle. I love what I do. I will not be happy sitting at home watching F1 because at the moment I still feel I should be there." On the performance front, there can be little doubt about that. Alonso was one of the outstanding performers of last season as Aston Martin made a remarkable leap from the middle of the pack to the front at the start of the year. 6 podiums in the first 8 races followed, including some outstanding drives. And although the team's performance level dropped in the second part of the season, Alonso's did not. His drive to third in Brazil at the end of the season, holding off Sergio Perez's Red Bull for 16 laps and then repassing it on the final lap after the Mexican had finally got by, was a masterpiece. When it comes to wheel-to-wheel racing, there is no one better on the grid than Alonso. If reports are to be believed, then Alonso had the pick of the grid for where he wanted to drive next year. Whether it was a move to Red Bull to match up against Max Verstappen, or a spot at Mercedes to try and show Hamilton what can be done with them, he has the freedom to do whatever he wants and go wherever he would like. He's had fun with it as well, taking his time and saying he's in no rush to make a decision. As the experienced competitor that he is, it's no big surprise that he wanted to play the field a bit. But after the Japanese Grand Prix, he gave a pretty clear indication of what his plans were. When asked if he was going to be looking for a spot at Mercedes, Alonso replied with a brutal takedown of the Brackley-based squad. "That's a very good question, but Mercedes is behind us, so it doesn't feel that attractive." Alonso's reasoning behind staying at Aston Martin is clear. It isn't just that he's well-loved and in a better car than he would be at Mercedes. It's what the team has to offer from 2026 onwards. A significant factor in the Spaniards' positivity is that Aston Martin has secured a deal to have their engines supplied from 2026 onwards by Honda, the Japanese manufacturer currently powering Red Bull. "I think in 2026 we're going into the unknown for sure in terms of regulations," Alonso said. "But if I had to choose one, my feeling is I would choose our project and our engine and our power unit. One, it's because I think they are dominating the sport now. They have a very, very strong engine with Red Bull and Racing Bull. And second, because with the new fuels and the new regulations, they will have all the tools available to succeed." Not only are Honda coming on board and solely supplying Aston Martin from 2026 onwards, but the team is in the final stages of moving into a brand new facility at Silverstone, featuring state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities and a cutting-edge wind tunnel. The team is far better equipped to deal with the new regulations than any other team. If, and it is a big if, but if Aston Martin were to develop a championship-challenging car while Alonso was on the team, a driver's title would make him the second oldest F1 champion in the sport's history. If he stuck around for another year or two, then he could even beat the late great Juan Manuel Fangio, who secured his final title in 1957 at the age of 46 years and 41 days. The recent announcement by Alonso about his future has brought some clarity to the fate of the 11 vacant seats, 12 if we include Lance Stroll. Although Alonso's position for the upcoming season is not yet set in stone, a cryptic line in the press release from Aston Martin hints at his continued association with the team. He expressed his gratitude for the faith placed in him by Lawrence, Martin, and Mike, and his excitement about future achievements with Lance. This statement has led many to speculate that Alonso's name might soon be etched on the roster for the next season. The early turbulence at Red Bull and Hamilton's surprising switch to Ferrari had initially made the driver market appear incredibly fluid. However, as the dust settles, the picture is becoming clearer. Despite the excitement and speculation, the chances of Verstappen leaving Red Bull for Mercedes seem slim, although the Christian Horner scandal could potentially stir the pot again. It's evident that Red Bull was not in a position to make a move for Alonso, as his value would be as a short-term replacement for Verstappen rather than a long-term teammate. This could have potentially led to internal strife within the team. Red Bull's options for the second seat are dwindling. Daniel Ricciardo has driven himself out of contention with a disappointing comeback, and Helmut Marko's pet project, Yuki Tsunoda, doesn't seem to have piqued the interest of team principal Christian Horner. Alex Albon could still be in the running, but after his previous treatment by the team, he might be reluctant to return. This leaves Carlos Sainz and an in-form Sergio Perez, who has been virtually flawless this season. The general consensus within the sport is that Red Bull is not interested in Sainz, which means Perez is likely to retain his seat for at least another season, a prospect that seemed almost unthinkable just 6 months ago. With Sainz seeking a long-term drive and Mercedes unwilling to commit due to their junior talent, his options are limited. One of the bottom 5 teams is set to gain a highly skilled driver, with Sauber being the most likely option. There are also rumors linking him to Williams, which would give the Mercedes customer team an impressive lineup of Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz, a stark contrast to their current position in the Constructors' Championship. If they can improve their car, there's a chance that Mercedes could find themselves outpaced by their 3 customers, Aston Martin, McLaren, and Williams. This would undoubtedly send shockwaves through the paddock and put team principal Toto Wolff in a precarious position. For Sainz, the long-term prospect of Audi's F1 project, set to start in 2026 at Sauber, is the best option and one that most people anticipated. Then there's the vacant seat at Mercedes. They were looking for a driver for a year or two at most just to hold a spot until Andrea Kimi Antonelli was ready to step up. However, with Alonso tied up and Sainz not interested in short-term contracts, Antonelli might find himself thrust into the limelight sooner than expected. Toto Wolff, the team principal at Mercedes, has confirmed that Antonelli is in a strong position to secure a seat at the Brackley-based squad next year. He expressed his desire to see how Antonelli's F2 season develops and his confidence in the young driver's raw speed, talent, and ability. Antonelli, who won't turn 18 until later in the year, could be making a massive leap into F1. However, with Mercedes currently not in contention for a race win or championship, the pressure would be off, making it an ideal time for him to join the team. His F2 teammate, Oliver Bearman, has already made an F1 appearance this year with Ferrari, where he impressed in Australia. However, back in the junior category, Antonelli has consistently outperformed his teammate. While he may be the front-runner for the Mercedes seat and has the full backing of Toto Wolff, it's worth noting that Wolff's last 2 picks of junior drivers didn't pan out as expected. He supported Nick de Vries for years before his underwhelming debut season, and then backed Mick Schumacher, who proved he was not of F1 standard. As we navigate this thrilling season of Formula One, the question remains, has Alonso made the right decision to stick with Aston Martin, and how will this impact the rest of the grid? I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below.